All right, and welcome back to Adorable Deplorables. And I am not Mike Tomas. That is Mike Tomas. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Are you sure? Do you identify as Mike Tomas today? I really want to know so I don't offend you. I want to use the right pronouns. I
woke up and I was looking at my breakfast.
The right pronouns, you know?
The right pronouns, yes. Yeah, the right pronouns.
We can make that a thing, a hashtag on Facebook.
I was looking at my
Twitter.
breakfast this morning and I was thinking, man, I think today's the day I'm a Honey Nut Cheerio.
Ooh.
I think I'm a Honey Nut Cheerio, man.
And, you know, that makes me a Fruit Loop.
That makes you a Fruit?
Makes me a Fruit Loop.
Should we just stop at the first word? Make sure.
Oh, God. I don't identify. That offends me. I'm going to LSG and filing a complaint.
Yeah. I mean, hey.
Filing a complaint. You know, they will listen to me because they care.
Yeah, they
care about how I feel. My feelings matter, Mike. Oh, my God. Hillary should have won. Give me a shot of pink champagne. Oh, my God.
Oh.
I'm going to Canada. All right, anyway.
To Canada.
Yeah. Canada. My God.
Trudeau. What a guy. Anyway, that's for another
Trudeau, honestly, if we're going to bring that beautiful man up.
Soy boy, yeah.
Oh, my goodness gracious. The cuck of 20...
The millennia, actually. Don't even say 2018.
I mean, I'm the cuck of 2018 for many different reasons, and many people can agree to that, and that's a whole story we could talk another day about. If you want to know, join my Twitter, all right? Hit me up on Twitter, MattBossman6, and you can also hit me up on Facebook. DM me on Instagram if you want to know why I'm the summer cuck. That'll be the question for our next show. All right, why is Matt the summer cuck of 2018? Well, if you want to find out, you can message me. We can talk about it. Honestly, you know what? I'm actually going to post the whole cuck story on poll just to get some. Actually, my buddy inspired me yesterday. I was talking to him and he said, you know, if you put it on poll, if you do it in like, you know, girl, I like girl, period. Girl says she likes me, period. Girl talks. You just do it very vague, like 3 or 4 words sentences, and you make it so vague that poll will respond.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
You know, and it's great. It's perfect.
They usually respond with some very vulgar.
Oh yeah, they're either gonna clap for me or they're gonna look at me and tear me apart piece by piece. That's what I told them. I said they're either gonna laugh so hard that they're gonna applaud via their keyboards with their Code Red Mountain Dew and pizza boxes, or they're gonna you know, rip me apart, and I can see that happening. I really can. I can just see option 2 happening. So basically, what we are talking about originally was transgenderism, gender identity, and why we disagree with the left's argument on it. You know, and here's my basis. You know, I had an opinion on this when this started. You know, when all this became a social, political, you know, a civil movement for these people, and I just said, scientifically, you're wrong. And Ben Shapiro basically destroys the argument in this video. Take a listen. Roll the clip.
Some people don't have privilege when you basically just said that trans people aren't valid. They're not a thing. They're just girls pretending to be boys or boys pretending to be girls.
Okay.
This girl is my favorite.
Someone's excited. Okay.
Biological, but gender is a completely different thing.
No, gender is not disconnected from sex. So.
It's not completely disconnected, but it's still a cultural thing. It's still from society.
Okay. No, it is not in the mind. Okay. You're not a man if you think you're a man. And I didn't say pretending, or if I did, I shouldn't have said pretending. Let me amend.
I said playing.
Okay, I said a boy who thinks he's a girl. That's the usual phraseology I use. Not playing. I usually say a boy who thinks he's a girl or a girl who thinks he's a boy, which is technically what we're talking about here. As far as the actual psychological issues at play, it used to be called gender dysphoria or gender identity disorder. Now they call it gender dysphoria. The idea that sex or gender are malleable is not true.
All right, so let's break it down starting that. Okay, they're not malleable.
Yeah.
All right, they're definitely not. And the whole point with it is people being offended when they identify a certain way, when they say that they're one thing when they're really not scientifically. And it's not even a scientific argument. It's, are you going to offend me? If I tell you I'm, you know, and Apache attack helicopters, everything, as everyone started with that argument that was against this, you know, they started to say that, which I thought was funny for about a day, and then people started to get more creative with it. But yeah, I mean, it's you know, they're not malleable. Gender is not disconnected. Well, is disconnected in a way, but here, we'll play the rest.
Okay, and I'm not denying your humanity if you're a transgender person. I am saying that you are not the sex to which you claim to be. You're still a human being, and you're a human being with an issue that I wish you Godspeed in dealing with in whatever way you see fit. But if you are going to dictate to me that I'm supposed to pretend that men are women and women are men, no. My answer is no. I'm not going to modify basic biology because it threatens your subjective sense of what you are.
Okay, but you're still saying these kids should like not be accepted because they don't really fit in either place. They can't.
No, that's not what he's saying at all. He's not saying they shouldn't be accepted. You know, I mean, this shows you. She later tells you in the video that she's 22 years old with the mindset, obviously, of someone who's been coddled by their parents their whole life. Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm saying that the Boy Scouts have a standard. You must be a biological boy to be a Boy Scout. You have to be a boy to be a Boy Scout.
This is my favorite.
In the name Boy Scouts. Because this is a very because for all of human history, boy meant boy and girl meant girl. Boy did not mean girl. And if I call you a moose, are you suddenly a moose? Okay, if I redefine our terms.
She looks like one.
No, yes, that's right. Men and women are a completely different thing. This is true. Have you ever met a man or a woman? They're completely different.
Completely different thing. You can't just say you're a cat. It's not a thing. It's genders. It's not saying you're.
Okay, why is that? I don't understand. Why? Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, I won't ask you how old. I will ask you how old you are. Okay, because you're young enough that it's probably not insulting to ask you. So.
I'm 22, so I'm probably young and naive, right?
No. Why aren't you 60? Why aren't you 60?
Because it.
And why can't you identify as 60? What is the problem with you identifying as 60?
It's not the same as gender. You can't just.
You're right. Age is significantly less important than gender. You can't magically change your gender. You can't magically change your sex. You can't magically change your age.
You can still legally change it. People recognize.
You can't legally change your age, by the way.
Obviously, you can change your name, you can change your sex, you can change your identity.
Just because you can do things legally doesn't mean that they are correct biologically.
And that's it right there. Just because you can do things legally doesn't make them correct scientifically, biologically, and, you know, for a lot of people, morally.
Well, that's the thing too, is that there's like a red line between your reality, my reality, and actual reality.
Right.
And the leftist reality, and this is everything left of moderate, liberal, Democrat, socialist, commie. They live in this fantasy world where you can change, you can. It's all rainbows and sunshine,
right? And unicorns.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Plenty of unicorns there.
Somebody told me the other day I was on a path of rainbows and unicorns. I wanted to.
A lot of unicorns with multicolored hair and piercings, but that's for another SJW story. Anyway, so, but that's the thing is that they're
so beautiful. Oh my God.
Maybe to them. I'm giving the show like 2 weeks. We get kicked off.
Yeah, honestly.
Geez. Anyway, so
that's why I turned off breakers so they can't hear us. So they don't have some, feminist. Oh my God. I can't go to class. I have to go to Starbucks instead. There's frappe.
There's plenty of safe spaces here at Lakeland. It's called Go Home.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's this, like I was saying, this reality thing is that they ignore actual reality. Actual reality is, you're born either a man or you're born either a woman. You're not scientifically. And
you can't change that because you want to.
But this is what's funny about the left is that, they use science, and this is going to another topic. We'll have to talk about this another time.
Right, no, that's fine.
But religion, right? The left uses science to disregard religion. All this and this. But yet, it's like they pick and choose. Science also says that there's only two genders, but they ignore that.
Right.
That's their mentalities. That's why I'm saying their reality, our reality, even our reality isn't real. Granted, we're more aligned with actual reality.
Yeah.
But regardless, everyone's reality.
See, here's what I find funny about the whole thing. So scientifically, like you said, they pick and choose. So scientifically, they go climate change, right?
Right.
And they say how that's a huge problem, big deal. Everybody's got to be afraid of the volcanoes and the tsunamis and the world's gonna. We're gonna have another Noah's Ark
climate
catastrophe.
Change is a hoax, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It created by the. Oh wait, never mind. I can't say that. Alex Jones. I can't say who it was created by because then we might get kicked out. But anyway, no. But I mean, they pick and choose what's right and wrong to them scientifically when scientifically proven. Gender and sex. You can't just pick and choose what you want to be if you're something else scientifically. Biologically, that is how this argument should have ended.
Right.
2 years ago when it started, or 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And now they're taking, and this is what kills me. Okay? They're taking these, how they pick and choose what they want to believe, throwing it in textbooks, making you pay $200 for the textbook, and shoving it down your throat in colleges. This is what you need to believe to have a degree. When you get that degree, you want to know why you don't have a job? Because your degree means nothing. It's based on a lie. Seriously. You're going to end up working at Burger King. You're going to end up working at McDonald's and going, I know the difference. As you flip that burger.
Well, funny thing
I want a little mayo, some ketchup and mustard while I go to my job that makes $90,000 a year, and while you're going to make minimum wage.
Can I supersize it?
And no, I'm not
cents?
I'm not going to vouch to make that $15 an hour. I'm sorry.
Oh,
okay.
Man. But what's funny about that is actually with the whole entire that gender studies thing is I think it's Hungary. Their prime minister, president, Viktor Orban. He actually banned gender studies there because it is useless. It's a complete mess of a degree. What kind of job do you get with that besides being a gender study teacher who's still teaching things that are wrong?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's exactly. Mind-boggling to me.
It is. It really is. And the fact that So colleges see these, liberal ideals, and they see these young, dumb college students. They get out of high school and they think I can take on the world, and they go out there, and they go, ooh, how do we get into the mind of the young kids? And they just shove. They make, like I said, you pay all this money for these books. You go and take the classes, and some of these classes you need to know what 2 + 2 is to the 4th power. You gotta know, okay? You gotta know mathematics, even if you're gonna be a, liberal arts major and work at Subway. I mean, That's the point, is that and anybody that's doing liberal arts, I wish you Godspeed in it. I really hope you become the next, Da Vinci, but it's probably not going to happen, buddy. Let me just throw that out there.
Da Vinci with nose piercings, yeah.
Yeah, and these psychology degree people. That's my other favorite thing, is that, I'm gonna start my own private practice. I'm gonna make $200,000 a year. I don't know why he's Italian mobster, but hey man, how you doing? Let's talk about your problems. How does it make you feel? But well, you're depressed. How does that make you feel? You don't know your mom and dad. How does that make you feel? Yeah, we're 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
But I mean, it's just like all these people are going after these degrees and doing all these different things and saying this and they go home, they tell their parents, and their parents go, yeah, little Jimmy, you can do that. Oh, I believe in you. Look, the whole point is that.
Wait, is his name Jimmy or Jamie? Because he can change at any moment.
Well, it's different. What's today? On Monday, it's Jimmy. On Tuesday, it's Jamie. On Wednesday, it's both, because, they got both there. And on Thursday, it's flip a coin.
Flip a coin. Imagine that gender is based on a coin. Oh, wait, there's two sides, only two genders. So there you go.
Oh, man. I identify as a non-binary peach tea mixed berry bottle.
Peach tea, the Lipton.
I told somebody yesterday, I said, I identify as LeBron James, okay? Mm-hmm. Where's my paycheck?
Honestly, yeah.
Where's my paycheck?
Are you living in Los Angeles?
Where's my house in L.A.? Can I go to his house and claim it as my own? Mm-hmm. And he's a liberal. He can't get mad at me.
Kids?
What?
Are his kids your kids? Like
I really hope not. I don't want kids. I mean, if I do have kids, I hope they're already 14, like Bronny Jr., about to be a college prospect and you know, an NBA player. Can I play for the Lakers now? Dude, I get to play with Lonzo if I identify as LeBron. Oh my God, that would be great. Lonzo Ball, you know, I let's go back to the clip.
Let's go back to the clip.
Lots of things in the past that were incorrect biologically and incorrect legally. For a long period of time in the United States, sterilization of the mentally ill took place. That didn't make it okay. Skinner versus Oklahoma. Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote the decision.
Did you make it?
No.
I
figured.
It's not a matter of open-minded and accepting. I want them to get treatment that they see fit, but that's not involving me. The idea behind the transgender movement as a civil rights movement is the idea that all of their problems would just go away if I would pretend that they were the sex to which they claim membership.
Exactly.
That's nonsense. Mm-hmm. The transgender suicide rate is 40%. It is 40%. And according to the Anderson School at UCLA, it makes no difference. There's a study that came out last year. It makes no difference, virtually no difference, statistically speaking, as to whether people recognize you as a transgender person or not.
Right.
Which suggests there's a very high comorbidity between transgenderism, whatever that mental state may be, and suicidality. That has nothing to do with how society treats you.
Do you think it could be because of they're bullied at school?
No, I don't think that. I do not think that the discrepancy. I do not think the discrepancy. First of all, I'm against bullying of any sort. Okay, the idea that somebody would beat somebody up is terrible. Okay, as somebody who's viciously bullied in high school, I'm not a fan of bullying.
I wonder why.
But the idea that the normal suicide rate across the United States is 4%. The suicide rate in the transgender community is 40%. The idea that 36% more transgender people are committing suicide
even liberal articles state this too
is ridiculous. It's not true, and it's not backed by any science that anyone can cite. It is pure conjecture. In fact, it's not even true that bullying causes suicide, according to a lot of studies. For example, in the black community, where the idea is supposedly that America is a racist society, blacks are bullied a lot. Okay, in the black community has significantly lower suicide rates than in the white community. In fact, in third world countries, the suicide rate is significantly lower than in first world countries. Suicide actually seems to be a privilege of the upper classes, if you actually look at it from a financial perspective. So the idea that suicidality is directly a result of people like me saying, no, men are not women and women are not men, it's not true. It's also...
So you think it doesn't impact their identity at all, or their depression, or how they feel about themselves?
I think the idea that you're going to sacrifice the entire society's proper definition of sex because you think that there is in legal terms, somebody with an eggshell skull, meaning that somebody who has a pre-existing condition that makes them more susceptible to criticism, that is not a way to run a society. You can't sacrifice truth because some people are going to actually suffer because of the truth. Plus, there's no evidence whatsoever that the suicide rate would go down in the transgender community in any marked way if people just started pretending that men were women and women were men. We're trying that experiment now. We'll find out whether it works. So far, no evidence.
Have you talked to a group of trans people at all instead of this group of like white people?
I'm more than happy to talk to a group of any people who will have me, but usually they protest me.
I'll have to use the race card no matter what.
Yeah, that's their go-to.
That's their go-to.
Their argument.
About your Planned Parenthood thing. So why do you think it's not about controlling women's bodies and just about...
And then it goes into abortion and all that. So, and that's another topic for another day. But and to me, you know, it's just, and I think that's completely true when you look at so if someone's upset, they want to hurt themselves, the rate would go down if I would be nice to them. If I wasn't mean, if I said, Mike, I don't believe you're Croatian. If I told you that every single day, even if you have evidence that you are, even if you have your, certificate of, or whatever, you go on Ancestry.com and you bring back the results here, and you're like, here it is. And I go, I still don't believe it. That's not a valid source to me. I believe, John Podesta, or whatever his name was, a Hillary dude. Yeah. Anyway, eventually that's not going to make you go, I'm going to quit at school now because Matt doesn't believe I'm Croatian.
And if you do, I'm putting it bluntly, you're weak. You're weak.
Yeah. It's an
soft.
escape. It's an escape route. And it's something I actually had to learn as I got older was, the more you try to escape your problems,
the faster the problem gets.
The bigger the problem gets. The faster it hurts you and eats you alive.
It will catch up.
It will catch up to you. And that's the thing, is that You face the problem, you go through the pain, you go through the hurt and the anger, and eventually you come out on top. You work towards getting better. Mm-hmm. Okay, and again, I'm not for bullying of any sort. I'm not for anyone, even if I disagree with you with the transgender community and the civil movement of gender identity. Even if I disagree with them, I don't want them to do anything stupid like that. That's horrible. But they need to, to me, they need to understand the way that all of these things go away, the suicide rate and all these different things will decrease, is if people understand, let the truth have its day. Mm-hmm. Understand correct science and biology. Understand what the facts are, what the truth is, and then you can move forward into getting better. Now again, that can also be disproven with the gender dysphoria argument that it is a psychological issue that needs to be dealt with. Gender dysphoria, it used to be called gender identity disorder, now it's gender dysphoria, and it's an actual thing, like it's an actual problem. And to me, if in the psychology community, in the medical aspect of that, if that is a problem, don't you think the left would go, oh, it's actually a mental state, a mental problem, mental illness that needs to be dealt with, that needs to be treated? But no, they don't do that.
Right.
They go, no, it's based off of what you believe personally, because your soul is beautiful.
But that's not the case.
It's not the case, and that's the thing. Look at Canada. Look at Canada now, and Jordan Peterson, the professor who is getting grilled for all of his personal beliefs. He's a professor in a liberal country. At a liberal university in that country, and he's speaking facts.
He's a conservative professor.
Right.
In probably a liberal school. It goes against their agenda. Right. The leftist agenda. Of course, he's getting blasted.
Oh, yeah. And the thing about him that I love is that he says, what was it that he said? He was talking about this. And he was talking to a group of kids outside of his class. Okay, he was outside of the building where he teaches his class. I don't know if he still works there. I don't know if he got fired. But he started to say, look, in this country now, it's law. In Canada, it is law that, Mike, if you identify as a woman today, and I come up to you and go, hey, Mike, hey, man, how are you doing? And you call the authorities, claim harassment. I have 2 years. I face up to 2 years if it goes to trial. If there's charges involved, I can go to prison for up to 2 years because I did not correctly approach you.
Building off that, there's also law. Excuse me. It's
ridiculous.
There's also a law that parents can actually get in trouble if they don't support what their kid wants to be. Now we're talking little kid. Now, and this spirals into another thing, is little kids, they don't know what gender is really. They're little, they're young.
And there's actually another video that Steven Crowder played, where the kids are being asked by their parents.
It was disgusting.
It was terrible. And the kid's like, I don't know what the difference is. Of course you don't. You're 5 years old.
Exactly. But that's the thing is that, but little children, when they're little, they retain information more than when you're older. So they see things on the news. They see how their country, and this is talk about Canada, they see how their country's moving. They're like, oh, so I can be whatever I want to be. Now, if the parent decides to say, okay, well, no, you're born a boy, that little kid, if he were to tell anybody that, big bad daddy or big bad mommy said that, the parents could actually go to jail and lose their children.
Right.
What is absolutely wrong with this world and how far we've...
And what's sad?
What's that?
What's sad is that they're treating the misgenderization, or whatever you want to call it, from the parent to the kid, the same as abuse. Mm-hmm. The same as neglect. The same as all of these different things that horrible parents do to kids. It's just like they're treating it the same as that.
Yeah.
By law now. It's not just, it's by law, written into law. You can get arrested and thrown in prison, federal prison for this. How long, and you talk about the slippery slope, this is the perfect example. This started out as, don't be mean to me, I identify as this, to now there's laws in place. Mm-hmm. What are we doing in our society in Canada? And now that's spiraled to the United States. Mm-hmm. And now the United States, even with, you know, a majority conservative Republican government now, it's still growing faster and faster. Imagine if the opposition would have won, where we'd be.
Terrible.
But we are out of time today, Mike. We do have to go, unfortunately. So today we're not going to, you know, get kicked out. But, you know, so that's one show we got in.
That's one show we got in.
One show
we got in. There we go.
Hopefully we can make it to 5.
Well, we'll make a bet and see how long we can go.
Yeah.
I'm saying
2 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks.
I'll give it 5 weeks.
Excellent.
And then what's the bet?
What's the bet? Oh,
we're both 21. Bottle of champagne.
Oh, I don't drink, though.
Champagne's not like drinking alcohol. It's like drinking sparkling cider.
I'll buy you champagne. You buy me like sparkling water.
He never specified a price, so I am taking advantage of this. All right.
So before we go, what do we have on the agenda for next episode? I have plenty of ideas myself.
Okay. I'll let you choose it. I chose this one. You choose the next one.
All right. I want to talk about the rise of communism.
Okay.
It's making a comeback. And I have experience, my family has experience with that. I think that's something that needs to be addressed. I feel like I can.
Before we, so that brings me to a good point. So I'm working yesterday, and this guy comes over to me, and this is probably about an hour before we closed. He's like one of the only customers in the store, and he comes over to me and he goes, you know, I need to get this, and you know, and he starts talking to me. Now he's foreign, obviously. I didn't know where he was from, so I'm trying to understand him, and I can't. He has a very thick accent, and he goes, "I need a hose," and I'm like, "Oh, a hose, like an actual hose?" He's like, "No, the valve," and he's trying to explain what he needs. Come to find out that he goes over, and after he talks the ear off my coworker for 45 minutes about a specific thing, trying to prove my coworker wrong, who is a specialist in this department. This guy comes over to me and he's like, "You need to show me where the cartridge is at." So I go to take him where the cartridge is. It's for a sink. And he comes over, he's like, as we're walking to it, he goes, "So you in college?" "Yes." And I go, "Yeah, I'm in college." And he goes, "Oh, you know, where I come from, you don't pay for college." I'm like, "Oh yeah? Where are you from?" "Germany." I'm like, "Oh boy, I'm German." So I'm thinking, oh, cool, you know. And he goes, "Free health care, you don't pay for apartment, you don't pay for a house, you need doctor, he come to your house."
It's a very Slavic German accent you got there.
Yeah. And that's my mom's side coming out. And he starts telling me all this, and he's like, "You know, we are communist." And I said, "Oh, you are, really?" And he's like, "Yes, it's great. This country doesn't understand it. We are much better in my homeland." And I'm thinking, and he's telling me about all these things in Germany. I go, "So who pays for it?" I just asked him, like, "Who pays for it?" He goes, "The government." I'm like, "Great. That's actually a society I want to live in." So, but yeah, we got to go.
Yeah, we got to go. So,
all right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Yep.
Next week, communism. Cool.
All right.
Mike's idea.
Mike.